Weird experience for me yesterday. First of all, I'm at the in-laws, Noche Buena. But so we have in-laws on in-laws in there. I'm not watching this with a lot of Dolph fans, except my brother-in-law. And it was a strange experience because I get there, somehow or another, my father-in-law doesn't have Fox. I'm like, everybody gets Fox. Throw up some aluminum foil on our roof, we get Fox. What do you mean we don't have Fox? So we're like on some quirky like pirate stream that we have to get to the Dolphins game. And I'm just like, I'm like watching it on the phone as we're trying to like dial it up. We finally get locked in. All right, cool. A little bit of a rocky start, but there we are. We're in. And I knew what I was coming. I was listening to Joe and Jimmy, and I was like, all right. Dallas was on the doorstep. What the hell happened? Because we walk in, we get to do the greets to everybody, come in there, Dolphins have the ball. I'm like, what the hell happened? It's scoreless. And I'm like, very clearly like a turnover. It must have happened. Unless like their perfect kicker somehow missed a 15-yard field goal. Like what? So find out about the fumble. I missed that part. Full disclosure to everybody that was there, but that's how my day started off. Tua ends up going bomb skis to Jalen Waddle with that beautiful 50-yard catch out of the end zone. Really the only action we got from Waddle today because he was very banged up in this game, which sucked. Tyreek Hill did come back, which was awesome. Love that guy. And this was going to be an interesting Dolphin game throughout, man, because you're taking on this Dallas team that they got their own narratives that they got to go with, right? Like they are kind of the NFC version of the Dolphins. Everybody's kind of compared these two-tone teams. Pretender Bowl, Fraud Bowl. What do we got here? Loser leaves town of fraud, or loser stays in town of fraud. All that stuff, right? So Miami Dolphins get this. Tua finds Waddle deep. Drive ends up stalling out, but really you got the story of the game within that drive because Jason Sanders hits a 57-yard field goal. And I was like, huh? Because let's be honest about it. If you are a Dolphin fan with Jason Sanders since he got his money, outside of 50, it's 50-50. You're like, not really sure. I don't know if I really trust this. So for Jason Sanders to kind of set the tone on that, you're like, wow, that's something. But unfortunately, next drive happens. Dak Prescott finds CeeDee Lamb, who's just running past. He roasty toasties Kader Kohu, and then is just running willy-nilly right down the sidelines, and he puts Dallas up. So like, all right, not great. So the Dolphins, they get the ball back. Tua, he's got a great throw to Robbie Chosen, who unfortunately ends up concussed because it's between three Cowboys. Cowboys decided they were going to go WWE in this entire drive because you not only had Robbie Chosen get concussed, but you had Jalen Waddle get eye gouged, which I was like, oh, what? He just like fish hooked right in there. Like this is like he's John Jones with the paws out. Just so he's like laid down. So the Dolphins decided to go for it on 4th and goal. Throw didn't have a chance. It stays 7-3. Thankfully, the Dolphins were able to hold on this, and that was with the first chicanery from the referees. Now I know the Cowboys fan. They got a lot of bellyache in there doing, especially their star pass rusher. We'll get to him in just a second. But this roughing the passer call on Christian Wilkins in the end zone. I got to tell you, dude, I didn't think anything could top Jalen Phillips on Justin Herbert. I feel like this did. I feel like this absolutely, like he didn't do anything wrong. Did you want him to give him a blankie? Did you want him to give him a pacifier and tell Dak Prescott, give him a lullaby. Lullaby and good night. I just put your ass in the dirt. No, I don't know what he wanted. I don't know what the referee could have possibly wanted from Christian Wilkins in this case. They call roughing the passer for football. Thankfully, Andrew Van Ginkel, he's awesome. He just remains awesome, and They were putting the heat on Dak Prescott a lot in this game. I mean, just a great job by Fangs and his defense. The boys just continued to pretty much show up outside of the drive at the end of the game, but they really were making life difficult for this Dallas Cowboys offense that just couldn't get out of the blocks a lot of the time. So you have to give them a ton of credit in that one. So next drive comes, Dolphins get pretty good field goal get pretty good field position, and this ends up with Jason Sanders from 52 yards. And I'm telling everybody in the room because they're not Dolphin fans. I'm just like, I'm nervous about this. He's already hit one from 50 plus. I don't know if he's going to hit another. But Jason Sanders, big middle fingers at me. He said, hey, you faithless mother bleeper. 52 yards at 7-6. All right. We're rolling, dude. So Dolphins have a 7-6 lead. They're killing it. They're in a good spot right now. We're rolling towards the end of the first half. Andrew Van Ginkel, Zach Sealer, David Long, they all maul Dak Prescott. Sealer it on up. Dolphins get the ball back. There's like 2:20 left. All right. And great drive. The lone touchdown drive of the game for the Miami Dolphins. You had some beautiful plays in this one. This is really where Tua was hooking up with Durham Smythe in a big, big way. And they were mentioned on the broadcast, like the next part of the evolution, because Greg Olson, G-Reg with the third leg, he was on the call for this, and he was talking to Mike McDaniel. Oh, hey, why no tight ends? What's the deal? No tight ends. Well, Durham Smythe, Tua was finding Durham Smythe a ton on this drive, and he was killing it. And you had, probably 3 first down throws to Durham Smythe on this drive. Devon Achane, he got a big chunk play. Tua to Cedric Wilson over the middle. He got himself a Tua to Cedric Wilson for about 12 yards. Then you get a nice play from Devon Achane. Go to Durham Smythe. Tua to Tyreek Hill. Puts the Dolphins in primo position. This is where the Cowboy fan then loses their mind. You get Micah Parsons, who assaults Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, football's way too hard. Tried to hurt Tua Tagovailoa. These referees were right because Micah Parsons was out there doing wrong things. And I'll tell you what, here's the thing. Here's the problem. Micah, who's awesome. No doubt awesome. Big mouth, but awesome. He had said a mere months ago that he was going to make Tua pay for Tyreek Hill's mouth. And so when he gives it a little bit too much mustard on the hit, what does an official do when he knows there was preemptive thoughts from Micah Parsons mere months ago that he was trying to hurt Tua on Christmas and be the Grinch? Well, what happens? The ref's got to be Cindy Lou Who in that case and melt his heart. So unfortunately, roughing the passer on Micah Parsons for that egregious hit on Tua. And Tua then decides, guess what? Touchdown time. Raheem Mostert, the touchdown machine, has 21 touchdowns for your ass sound for this season. So the Dolphins are going in to halftime up 13-7. Beautiful. So you get a couple of punskies to start. Dolphins, Cowboys, they both are punting these things. And then Dolphins get the ball back. They're up 13-7. Another drive for Jason Sanders, this time from 54 yards. Hits it. I'm like, what is today? Is this a Noche Buena miracle? Jason Sanders is out here and he cannot miss from 57, 52, 54. Dolphins record, 3 makes outside of 50. It was incredible. Incredible with what he was able to do. So I just marveled at it, man. That was very impressive. He puts the Dolphins up by a score of 16-7 at the time. So the Dolphins are up 2 scores at this point. Dallas would answer, they'd get it to 16-10, but the Dolphins would then get themselves back into position for Jason Sanders once again. And you had some really nice plays in this drive. I think the best one was Tua who finds Tyreek for a 16-yard pass about. And then probably his best play was a shotgun snap, ends up on the ground. Tua picks it up, and he finds Durham Smythe for a nice pass. So you're like, all right, no rattling, all the heat that the Dallas Cowboys are trying to bring. Tua was in that zone today, man. He really, really was. I mean, there was a couple times where you could see him and the receivers weren't on the same page that probably could have led to more touchdown drives. But ultimately, dude had some big-time throws to set his team up in a big, big way. So this drive ends up, what do you know, Jason Sanders once again getting himself a field goal from 35 yards out. Dolphins now lead 19-10. You're just like, all right, we're in a good spot right now. Nothing wrong here. It's all gravy, baby. We're in a good spot going into this one. So we're having a bunch of field goal exchanges. They end up going down. They make it 19-13. Then Dolphins get stalled out into basically a 3-and-out. Tua gets swallowed up for a sack. Dolphins have to punt. And then this, with about 11 minutes left, the Cowboys go on a long drive. And it was a rough one. It was a rough one to go through. You had a lot of penalties on this one. You had some tough breakups on things where it's just like, what are we watching here? And it was one of those classic ones where like it felt like Bradley Chubb was basically there all around Dak Prescott, but like just couldn't quite get him until we get to about 1st and goal in this thing. But just Dak Prescott just kind of cutting you down with a bunch of big time plays to his tight end. He's finding CeeDee Lamb for the first time basically since he had that touchdown. He had this money throw. I got to give Dak Prescott credit. Duke Riley was basically like putting Dak Prescott in a rear naked choke, and he was able to get it to Gallup. It was a really, really great play by him. Gets them down to a situation where Dolphins get it to 4th and goal. Mind you, I'm at a watch party. I'm not at a watch party. I'm at Noche Buena. I'm at there with the in-laws, adorable little nephews and nieces, running around, and 4th and goal happens. Snap the ball. TV goes out. I'm like looking, searching. I'm like, what just happened? What just happened, baby? The biggest play of the game. And my adorable little niece was bouncing like a trampoline onto the couch, turned off the television. Now, mind you, as I said, not watching just your standard run-of-the-mill broadcast channel Fox. This is hooked up by some thing from my brother-in-law with a piracy block login thing for whatever to get Fox. So it wasn't just a mere turn it on, turn it off. It was like turn it on, have to fire up the app, have to find the link. It was a whole thing. So I'm like watching what had happened. I throw up my phone. I watch what happens on my phone. And Deshaun Elliott, pass interference. I'm just like, oh. So killer. Fresh set of downs. But right out of that, Bradley Chubb, big-time sack with him and Andrew Van Ginkel getting it done. Gets down to 3rd and goal, though. And Dak finds Brandon Cooks for a touchdown. I'm just like, mother. So here it is. 3:27 left. Miami Dolphins with a drive to win it. Down 20-19. Big-time legacy drive, I think a lot of people were saying for Tua. Probably the biggest drive of his career. And flawlessly done by the Miami Dolphins. I mean, executed to perfection. You got to not only kill the clock, but you got to get yourself just in field goal range. And starts off great for Miami. Achane goes out for 6 yards, but a face mask, puts him in great position. Then Tua to Jeff Wilson, keeps it moving on down. Then Tua finds Tyreek Hill for a first down. And then Tua goes, finds a little bit of a dump off over to Alec Ingold, gets the Dolphins down to the 2-minute warning. Dolphins get to a 3rd and 3. Who are you going to go to? 3rd and 3. Need a great play. Who are you going to call? The Cheetah. And the Cheetah gets the conversion. Dolphins keep mowing it down, and then you say, let's run this puppy. And who do you give it to? You give it to an angry runner. You give it to Jeff Wilson. And Jeff Wilson, right off the gate, bulldoze, 9-yard run. You could just see the sinking feeling in Mike McCarthy as it happens because he knows Dolphins about to ice this puppy away, which they do. Give it to Jeff Wilson a couple more times. You kneel this thing on down after Jeff Wilson gets him the first down, and you set up Jason Sanders, who has been perfecto today. And this one, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to call a chip shot for the Winsky. And the Miami Dolphins win this game 22-20, clinch the playoffs, 11 wins on the season, game-winning drive from Tua Tagovailoa. Everybody could shut the hell up. Micah Parsons, oh, get the calls from the referees. Get out of here, dude. Not going to say that after the game the referees had where they were calling. Listen, you can't football too hard, apparently. Referees made that known immediately. If you didn't realize that, that's on you, Chief. Like, I don't know what to tell you. And, listen, you said anybody could be Tyreek Hill's quarterback. Anybody could be Brock. Anybody could be Deebo Samuel's. Maybe you should beat, I'm saying you should maybe beat the team. These QBs that you're chatting about, maybe beat them. That's all I'm saying, Micah. That's nothing. And who can forget Colin Cowherd, who referred to the Dolphins as fake Gucci and that they were going to get steamrolled by the Cowboys? Well, you might want to check the label again there, cow turd, because it appears to me that that not only the Dolphins bag is real, but also this ticket to the playoffs is real, baby, because the Miami Dolphins are going to the postseason. So you guys can chew on it. Your narrative sandwich. Tua's been keeping receipts. Once again, we got a week chocked full of a bunch of other ones. A bunch of dum-dums out there who wanted to believe in the Cowboys. Idiots. All the Cowboys fans that came down here, you spent your hard-earned holiday money to come down, take a little trip to South Florida to watch your team get their ass kicked. Get the hell out of town. Get on your horses and get to stepping. And the Dolphins now get to set themselves up and see where they're at next week, because we'll see what happens with this Baltimore-San Francisco game. But the Dolphins have a monster matchup coming up this coming Sunday against the Baltimore Ravens. But they just keep rolling. As Mike McDaniel said, they ain't celebrating nothing yet.